Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel again. Today we're back on GT Sport and we're back with a track guide for the new daily race C this week. So we're back doing videos. We did have a little bit of a gap as we had the hard drive fail on the PC, and I obviously had to wait for the two new hard drives to come, and I had to then reinstall everything, go through all the files and folders and creating everything, downloading all the images and stuff, and redoing stuff for the video. So I've eventually got all that sorted. That's why I was doing a lot of streaming over the last 3-4 days, is because while I was doing all that and setting up, I needed to get some content on the channel, so I just tried to make sure I streamed as much as possible while I was doing all that. Now we got that sorted, we can get back to getting the videos out along with the streaming, so we got double the content. Right, so first up, it's back at Tokyo again. This is one of 2 tracks at Tokyo for this week's rotation change. The other track I will not be doing, as predicted. I did say it on stream yesterday. I guessed it would be in the Group X Tesla car. It's all electric, not very exciting to drive, pretty boring. I'm not into that type of stuff. I want an engine. I want to hear noise when I'm accelerating. I want gear shifts. So I won't be doing that race. And race B, I can't stand that track, to be brutally honest. So I'm not doing that one. So I'm just going to concentrate on this one. Now, what I've done for this track guide is I decided I'm not going to use the car that everyone else was using on the time trial. When I went on this morning, everyone was in the Huracan. Now, that car is going to be pointless for the race. So I thought, to be more, to give more help and advice, I thought it'd be better to use a car that's going to be not only good in time trial, but good in the race conditions. So I set my time in the Cayman, and I only did about, I think it was about 15 minutes to get a lap in. I just went on. I started off in the Corvette, then went to the Jaguar, and then decided to try out the Cayman. Now, the recording, I forgot to set it to longer than 2 minutes, so we're going into turn 1, but luckily it started just before turn 1. Going into turn 1, you need to brake just after that 100 board there. You see, just a fraction after the 100 board, a little bit of brake pressure going in, and you want to get your car as close to this wall on the right hand side as possible. On this lap, you can see it wasn't as close as I would have liked, and then I had to be a bit hesitant on the power, and it was okay. We got reasonably good exit, but that could have been quite a bit better through there. Now on the second entry to the second part of the corner, you're going to see again a touch of brake around this point now as you're starting to turn it in and chuck it in, and again you want to be as close as possible to that wall and be confident on the power. You see, I just give it a little safety lift during the corner, which I probably could get away without doing that if once I've obviously hooked the lap up. But for this base lap, I just wanted to jump on, get a base lap done, get the track guide done, and then we'll do a race guide, which is going to be after this track guide. We'll go through some strategy for the race. Now, into this really fast corner. This is where the Cayman is really going to pull over the Huracan. You can see a tiny bit of brake pressure going in there now, and it's not on for long. It's just a little dab of the brakes, down into 4th gear, and look how close we are to the wall. You really have to be as close as possible to that wall, skimming it almost, and that will give you a better line through to the second part of the corner and on the power all the way through the exit. And we're carrying so much more speed than you can with the 4-wheel drive car through there. Now for this corner, the Cayman is pretty much easily flat through here, no lifting, completely flat. Just try and get the turning in point nice and early so that you're pretty much putting off all the lock in nearly, and then you're getting the car back over to the right hand side. You see there, no worries about lifting off the throttle, and you've got the car back over to the right hand side to then chuck it straight away back into this really fast left hand corner. And all we're going to do is a little confidence lift there. You see that little lift off the throttle, that just enables a weight to transfer to the front, and then we're back on the throttle. We actually could have carried a little bit more speed through that corner. I have done that on a previous lap a little bit faster. You can see the previous lap was a 206.3. Then for this corner, we're braking just before the 50 board. You can see they're down into 4th gear and try and get it very close to that wall. I slightly missed the apex there, which then meant I couldn't carry as much speed as I would have liked, but it's not too bad. Now through this corner again with the Cayman, this is why I like the Cayman for this track. There's no lifting really required as long as you get the line right. Just a brief little lift before we go into the corner, but then all the way through the corner it's completely flat. Some other cars you will need to give it a little bit more of a lift depending on the handling on the car, but the Cayman's a very good handling car, so you can take a lot of these corners with a lot more confidence than you can with other cars. Now into the final braking zone, braking halfway between the 150 and the 100 board, the brake pressure going in there, keeping it in a straight line till you're braking. About now you're going to turn in and you're going to aim for the apex, and I like to, for this lap I took a very narrow apex. You see, I'm going to keep it very tight to both apexes, not running out wide, but you can do this corner in multiple ways that give pretty equal results, but I do like to keep it fairly tight to the apex. I find it more of a consistent way to take that corner. and then on the power nice and early, keeping the traction nice and safe. You don't want to get on too early and lose a bit of traction, because you will then suffer all the way down the straight. And that wasn't a bad lap. You can see this lap now, we're going to go over the line. It's going to be a 2:05.9, which was good enough in the top 10 stars when I did it first thing this morning. It was the only Cayman that was in the top 10 when I did the lap. There is plenty more to come off this. I think I'm going to go back on and hopefully try and get this down to a 2:05.5 to 6. I think it should be possible. We do a 2:05.9, but there's at least 3 temps left in that. You can see we improved nearly 4 temps on our previous best lap, and that was because I just did a lap and then went straight back into another. I did that and thought that'll do for the track guide. So now what we're going to do is go through race strategy, and this is the big reason why I decided to go in the Cayman and use the Cayman basically. Now there are other cars that might actually be able to be competitive as well. I'm not too sure if they'll be as good as the Cayman, because the Cayman's got, it's not the fastest car down the straight, but it's a little bit faster than the NSX and the Alfa Romeo, which gives you a little bit more security down the straight. So starting the race, obviously we had a lobby full of Hurricanes, so you're going to see straight away the Lamborghini is going to probably go flying past me at the start, but it wasn't. I expected it to be past me a lot sooner than it did. You can see it's in the slipstream, and even with the slipstream he's gaining, but he's not gaining a massive amount. Now there's no worry for fuel in this race, so fuel, don't worry about it. Rev as hard as you can, and you see he's just going past me now, and we're close to the braking zone, so I thought I can chuck this up the inside here. Braked really late, maybe a little bit too late, tried to hold it on the inside, but avoided hitting the wall, but that gave him the inside line. Then I try and hold it around the outside now, but the Lamborghini's going to get that inside line, and then he's on the power nice and early. So now what I'm going to do is sit in that slipstream, but the advantage I've got now, I'm using, if you have a little look, I'm using the racing soft tyres, and we're going to go for a no-stop strategy on the racing soft tyres. There's only 7 laps you need to do at this track, and I think it's the best strategy to do, because especially if I would have got away from the leader at the start, I would have pulled instantly through here, because the Lamborghini just cannot carry the amount of speed that the Cayman can. You're going to see as well, the good thing about the Cayman is, if in the slipstream of the Lamborghini, it can actually gain on it. So it's got enough pulling power to actually slightly close in on that Lamborghini in front, even though, you know, because we're in the slipstream. And just look how much closer he's getting to the wall through there. The Cayman isn't struggling in the slipstream. I'm in the dirty air, but I'm just not really struggling with it, because it's just got so much more handling ability, and you can follow a car so easily with the Cayman. So this is another strength of it, because I'm not going to wear my tyres out as much when I'm in the slipstream. I could have gone for that move there. I decided not to do that. The sensible thing really is I tried to get a better exit from this corner. You see, taking a wider line. However, I got on the power a little bit too early, a little bit of a loose rear. However, it was the best and the safest way to do this now. Is obviously I want to be behind on the straight, so we're about 5 tenths behind, and actually that's going to probably work out pretty much perfect, because as you see in the top, right on the top left hand corner, you can see the delta decreasing in time from half a second and going down gradually, and we're in that slipstream. We're going to start building up more and more of a slipstream, and we're actually going to get it going up the hill. This is a little bit of what I would have rather have picked up a stronger slipstream a little bit later. You can see started to pick up the slipstream. I'm going to have to pull out of the slipstream now and go for the overtake. I'm not going to do no bump drafting, because we know what happens when people bump draft. A bit of advice to everyone is do not bump draft. You destroy other people's safety ratings, and you're only going to affect yours as well. So please don't do it. Drive properly and don't do any bump drafting. It's not really for GT4 cars or Group 4 Group 3 cars. And what we do there, you see, we managed to get the inside line, and this time I braked really late and managed to hold that position. So now I'm in the position to use the soft tyres. Now obviously we've done one lap, the tyres have took a little bit of wear off. However, the Cayman, one strong thing about the Cayman is it can drive reasonably well on completely worn out soft tyres. So this is why I'm going for this plan, because the soft tyres now should give me the ability to break that slipstream from that Lamborghini. I don't know what tyres he was on. Be interesting to, I should have really checked, but I didn't check that. But you can see, looking behind, look how much more speed we can take through that section there, with the soft tyres and in the Cayman. We've broke the slipstream already. We're now able to push really aggressively and just build that lead up. So far it's looking okay, the strategy. I'm not going to pit obviously for this strategy. I think that's the best way to do it, because it's only 7 laps, and the pit lane loss it's not the biggest pit lane loss. The problem with the exit is you come out the pits at really slow speed, and everyone's at near enough the maximum speed, so you lose quite a considerable amount of time just on the accelerating. So it just doesn't work out to pit in this race. If you're going to do it, if you can't do it on the soft tyres, maybe put the medium tyres on or something like that. Just do not pit. I don't think it's going to work out. As you see, P2 there now starting to drop back. He's now going to gain a bit though, because this is where the Huracan is going to be very strong, the Lamborghini, down this straight. It's one of the fastest cars in a straight line. That's why a lot of people are using it, but I've kind of worked out that you don't always have to go a fast car for these tracks, because the Cayman will gain pretty much all that time back in the braking and on the initial first 2 corners. That straight's pretty much left, you know, people just want straight line speed, I understand that, but braking is just as important, and cornering speed. So he is gaining it back there. You can see he's gaining 3-4 tenths down this straight, but then we're going to get into the braking zone, and we're going to pull away again and obviously increase that lead further. You see there, down into 1.3 seconds nearly gets into the slipstream, but not close enough. And now I can then pull away again and try and build that slipstream back out, get rid of this, you know, any chance of slipstream, get it over 2 seconds. Once I'm over 2 seconds, I was confident that he wasn't going to be able to get any opportunity to get that slipstream back again. And again, this does really highlight the advantage of the Cayman over the Lamborghini and other cars like the TT. The TT is going to kill its tyres as well. Probably another car that's reasonably okay at this track, but it will destroy its tyres. But the other advantage obviously is even if you're stuck behind them in a slipstream, you're stuck, you can't get past. Let's say you're in the middle of the pack, you're going to be able to last a lot longer on the soft tyres. So as the race goes on, you're going to find it easier, and you're going to be able to drive in their slipstream easier than they will be able to drive in your slipstream. Then when you get through to the corners, you should be able to break that slipstream, even if you're on the soft tyres. Obviously, if you're starting in the middle of the pack, it might be advisable to maybe put the medium tyres on, just to give yourself that extra bit of grip towards the end, because you're going to be battling a lot. Maybe that might be advisable. I'm not too sure. This is obviously just a base guide to the track. I just wanted to let everyone know that the no-stop strategy is the better strategy, and you can do it on the soft tyres. And the fact is, you're going to gain, over the first 4 laps, you're going to gain probably a second a lap at least over the medium tyres. And then the medium tyres start wearing out just as quick pretty much as the soft tyres. They last a fraction longer. It's not really worthwhile, and the drop-offs is quite severe. So overall, I think it's best just to stay on the soft tyres, me personally. Other people might not be able to cope with that. I know there's some people that say they wear the tyres out a little bit more, and they do struggle with the tyre wear. Maybe if you're on a pad, it might struggle with the tyre wear. But you're going to see now, I think some cars decided to pit on lap 3 already. Some of the Lamborghinis there, P6 into the pits with, I think he's in a Lamborghini. And that was quite surprising, to be honest, because I was thinking, I don't think you need to do that. So what we're going to do is skip to the end of lap 5 now. Obviously, I've just been trying to keep the laps consistent, go over the line. We're obviously losing time every single lap, but we're in a 209. Now remember, this is only my first ever attempt on this race. I just went in, did a race, and P2 actually went in the pits on lap 5, and that was a massive surprise. And what it's going to do is emphasise why you shouldn't pit, because he was about 6 seconds behind, I think, when he went in the pits, maybe 7 seconds, something like that, and he's not going to get within that amount of time with us before the end of the race. So you're going to see now, we're going to start obviously the final lap now. Now the tyres are struggling on this lap, and this is where obviously I need a bit more practice. Lap 6 was a bit messy as well. We made a mistake, but I'm pretty sure that once I did a few runs with doing this strategy, I could improve the lap times down so that this lap would be a low 2:10, and obviously a little bit faster throughout the other laps, because it's just about getting used to the braking, adjusting your braking as the tyre wear is going. So as the tyre wear is going, you want to just bring your braking distances a little bit sooner, just so you're braking that fraction earlier, just to compensate for your front left hand tyre having not as much grip. So you can see braking a little bit earlier there, trying to hit the apex again, trying to get on the power, but you can see getting very close to the wall, but managed to keep that fairly nice through there. And again through this right hand corner, trying to get on the power nice, and it actually did that quite nice, considering how worn the tyres are. Did it reasonably well and carried reasonably good speed. And you look how far ahead we are of P2 coming into this final lap. Nearly 13 seconds clear, and this is why you don't always take that time trial leaderboard, you know, for the best cars to race. I've said it many a time before, but this is where we made another mistake, same as we did in the previous lap. Tried to carry too much speed, skim the wall there. Only a tiny mistake on that one, but on the previous lap we did it a little bit worse. But this again, I tried to carry like far too much speed through there. Should have really dipped it down to 4th gear, got the rear rotating a bit more, but made a little mistake there. I'll learn from that, so try and improve it as we race it more. And then going through this corner, just trying to reduce the braking distances now. You can see missing the apexes slightly, and this is just all going to come down to practice. As the more we do it, the more we optimize the strategy, but it definitely feels like the best way, because you can see even though the tires are completely gone on the front left and the rear left pretty much, there's still okay grip, and it's gripping on traction. That's the most important thing. And we're still nearly 13 seconds clear, so it highlights as well that obviously P2 went in the pits and now he's in P4, so that's a massive point that the no-stop strategy is faster, because there was other cars in the same kind of car as him. I think they were in the Lamborghini, and he's been outdone by people that didn't pit. So I think he might have been outdone by one driver that might have pitted that went in earlier than him, because he pitted lap 5, which was a strange decision. But even then, he lost so much time to me by pitting. It shows you that for me the no-stop strategy is the better strategy, and also it's the safest strategy, because if you pit on lap 3 or 4, you risk going back into a load of no-stoppers who are going to be holding you up, and the penalty system is about avoiding penalties now. We don't want another situation like when I lost the driver rating, etc. So that's the strategy I'm going to go for. That's the strategy I'm going to try and optimize and work on. And I just wanted to get this video out there just so everyone can see it and see the advantage of it. And I try and help you out as well, and try and get your driver rating higher so you know the strategy. So might be worth trying the Cayman. There are other cars you can try. The Jaguar, also the Jaguar Group 4 car was reasonably good. I don't know about the tyre wear on it though, but it felt nice around this track. I think it can get fairly close to the time that I did there with the Cayman, so bear that in mind also. Anyway, thanks again for watching this video. We're going to be back doing all the videos again now that we've got the hard drive sorted. So have a race video uploaded tomorrow from the American account, starting from last place at last week's track, and then we're going to carry on with obviously more and more uploads as we go on. Thanks again for watching, everyone, and we'll be back very soon.